Hey guys, this is me and Ken and you're watching the Casual Talk. Today I'm going to review a game that I played recently. It's called the Star Wars Jedi, The Fallen Order. And before I start the review, I'm just going to tell you guys that there was no spoilers in that, so you can watch it freely till the end. Right, so let's get into it. So the game starts with the story of a young Jedi named called Castus, and he's getting chased by the Galactic Empire, and they're sending these Inquisitors known as the Second Sister, and they will chase you through different planets like you move on further into the game. The good thing about that, like the normal layout of the Star Wars is always being like you have kind of like a mini droid or sometimes a big one or whichever, like, so you always have a companion droid which will help you during the mission, so when you're going around different places, so it's always kind of handy to have that like a mini friend, you know. So in this one you also have the same story. You can have a mini droid called BD1, and it will help you quite a lot during the missions, like moving through different places or opening doors and all that. I'm not going to go really much into details, but it's going to be quite helpful. Right, so as you progress into the game, you will go through different planets, and the good thing about that is that when you go through different planets, it will totally change out the scenery layout, and especially when you come to the combat, the stormtroopers, they'll be keep changing. They will be coming with different kind of skills, and even the machinery or droids to kill you. And it's going to be a lot of droids, sometimes stormtroopers all together. Some places will get quite hectic, but I guess that's the fun part of this. One of the things that I really like about the combat was it's really smooth, like especially when you're having when you're getting in a fight or getting chased by a lot of stormtroopers or droids, and especially when you're using your lightsaber. The gameplay, it stays quite smooth, and the fight stays quite smooth, which is quite good and interesting. And you don't get frustrated by that, because sometimes when you're playing games and you can see that it kind of it's not really smooth. You can get a feel of it, like a proper gamer probably they will understand with that. For saving game, you're gonna go through different places. No, not places actually. It's gonna be different points. It's called meditation circles that you're gonna use to save the game. When you will save the game, it will also replenish your health, energy, and force, which is quite good. So some places when you'll be kind of struggling with your health, and even if you don't have those the health shots that you're gonna use through your BD1, which he will be keeping all the time in case if you need some health. On the top with these meditation circle, you can also improve your skills through those key points that you're gonna have. Okay, now let's get into the fighting. So when it comes to the combat, it's very much like Assassin's Creed. I noticed that, especially with the fight. I mean, you got lightsabers, they don't have a sword, so you're using lightsaber, you know, like all that. But like the fight is, I've noticed that especially when you come to running on the walls or like using different kind of skills. So it's kind of like an Assassin's Creed, but like a more modified version of that. When it comes to fight, you're not using guns. Like that's one thing I kind of noticed, which is like you're missing sometimes. You want to use a gun, you know, like how the stormtroopers using those guns and like tissue, all that stuff. So that was one of the things I kind of miss sometimes, because you just keep using lightsaber, and even when you're killing the stormtroopers, I mean, there's a gun and it's just there, like it's on the floor. You can literally just pick it up and you can shoot. You can start shooting people, but you can't pick any kind of weapons. You will even come across stormtroopers using bazookas even, or like some other kind of gunfire, but you can't use them. Like once you kill the stormtrooper, you'll see the gun on the floor, but it's just gonna be there, like you won't be able to pick that. So that's one of the things that I feel like I don't know, I felt like it will be more interesting to have that ability to pick those guns or those bazookas and then just shoot around like crazy, you know. So that would be kind of interesting, or maybe like keep the game interesting. So that was one of the things I missed about it. But again, on the other side, you have lightsaber, which is quite good. Like it's amazing. It's so many skills you can have that, and as you progress into the game, you will see that with the lightsaber, you will be using in a lot of different ways, and in terms of killing or shooting or even like evading the bullets and all that. So I think the combat was quite fun. One of the tips that I'll give about the combat is that don't stick with the same kind of style of fighting. I've seen a lot of gamers when they when they're fighting in the combat, they just stick with the same kind of gameplay. So you have to keep changing. You can't stick with the same kind of style. If you stick with the same kind of style, you're going to come across some kind of droids and machines that you won't be able to kill. So you have to keep changing. Use the Force. Initially, when you start the game, at some places you'll be using Force, but as you progress further on into the game, you'll be using Force more and more. There will be different kind of skills that you'll be using. So in terms of fighting, or especially going through different places, or even when you're stuck in the puzzles, and when I say puzzles, yeah, there's going to be a lot of puzzles. So you need to have a really good use of Force all the time to go through the puzzles or the combat and all this. Right, so talking about the graphics, they was quite good. I think some places they can do much better in terms of effects of graphics, but overall speaking, it was quite good. I think so. I like it. It was good. In terms of game, like I mentioned that earlier on about the puzzles, you can have a lot of puzzles in different places, which can take a lot of time. Like for me, I remember there was like 1 or 2 places that I got really frustrated that I don't know how you're gonna solve that puzzle. And normally I don't do this, but I have to go on YouTube to watch the video of how to solve that puzzle. So that was one thing that I have to do. But if you like, to be honest, I try to do myself because I don't want to like, I feel like I'm cheating, like, so but at this, I think there was 1 or 2 puzzles that I really got stuck, and it was taking me a lot of time. So I was like, okay, I have to do this. I have to watch a video on YouTube and see how it's done. And then so I went on YouTube, watched the video, see how it's done, and then after that I was able to pass through that puzzle. So I think there should be some more instructions, or like there should be some kind of more hints. Like you can always, there is a button that you can press in the controller that if you need some kind of hint, you can press that button, and then the BD1, your mini droid, can help you and it can give you a little bit of hint. But I think those puzzles, I tried the BD1, but it wasn't really clear, the hints what he was giving to me, like what to do. So I kind of felt like helpless in those places. But overall speaking, it was quite fun. How long it took me to finish the game? It took me like almost 4 days to finish the game. I was playing around 3 hours every day. Not that I really recommend doing that, but I just like, for me, if I like the game, I want to know what's going to happen next, or how it's going to finish, or it's going to end. So that's one thing I do. Like, if I play a game, I really like it, I want to finish till the end, and I don't care sometimes how long it's going to take. But I don't recommend doing that, but that just means that's how I like to do things. Okay, so overall speaking, the game was quite good. Graphics is good. The fighting, combat, like you like as the normal layout of the Star Wars, like they always had in the movies or in the games, and especially as compared to the earlier games what they had before. I haven't played them, but I watched some of the reviews on the games, and I watched some of the clips, and what I heard is that that wasn't really great. So I mean, keeping that in mind, looking at the previous Star Wars games, I think this one was quite good. It's a big step up. So overall speaking, I'll recommend that game. If you want to play the game, you can have it on PCs, Xbox, or PlayStation. Right, so that's pretty much, I think so I pretty much covered everything, and maybe if I miss anything, you can always write in the comments and you can ask me and I can tell you. I'd be happy to answer that question, and I hope you really enjoyed that review. Thanks for watching.